Hello, hello. Okay, I wanted to pop in here, just say thank you for joining the workshop yesterday, and also wanted to pick up kind of where we left off because we ended up having some technology issues. So I am going to just kind of scroll ahead right where we left off talking about the ramp method, just because there was a little bit of confusion after this. So we kind of left off at, where do you need support? What's next for you? And I talked about what the ramp method is, how that really can help you reach your goals and scale and do what you want to do without burning out. So that is where the ramp method comes in. So I burned out 3 times in my career as a stay-at-home mom and as a business owner. And after the third time, I was like, Cherie, these principles have been used in the sports world to produce Olympic gold medalists for over 60 years. Why not apply these to business? And so that is really where the RAMP method was born. RAMP is an acronym. It stands for Rest, Align, Master, Peak. It's also the process that we take clients through to really help them be able to reach their goals without burning out. So even if you've had burnout before, and if you've had burnout before, you are likely to burn out again, especially if there's still underlying beliefs there that are keeping you stuck. And just really understanding, how do we rest? How do we add rest in? How do we know what peak performance looks like? So I'm going to walk you through the RAMP method. We didn't really get to go over this yesterday. And for future reference, I will make sure that I have printouts in case technology goes down. So rest and recovery. This is really the foundation for sustainable growth and peak performance. So, in this phase, we work on resetting your nervous system. I had talked about I was in a constant state of fight or flight. Sometimes my body still wants to go back in those patterns, but that's a signal to me that I've got to do some nervous system reset work and some belief work. If you don't do the belief work, uh, you will always feel like you have to be stuck in that hustle. And so this is super important. We talk about and look at and identify, what does rest and recovery look like for you on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. I mentioned that men and women are very different in how they function and their energy levels. And us as individuals, we all have a different level of capacity. We all have a different goals and what we want to accomplish and what's important to us. And so that all plays a part in this. And so we really take this time to identify, what does that look like for you? And then creating boundaries that work for you instead of against you. One of the biggest problems that I see in real estate, in insurance, in finance, is this constant need to be on, and this fear that if you do not answer a message right away, that you're going to lose business. Is that true? Maybe, but you can also set boundaries and communication. I worked with the realtor that we had that helped us sell our house 5 years ago. He was one of the top producing real estate agents in Spokane. And I remember he said, Cherie, just so you know, my phone's going to be off every day from 4 to 6 p.m. As soon as I come back online, I will answer your questions. We never had any problems because he was clear up front about what his boundaries were. Right? This is possible. You can be a top producer. You can have boundaries in place. And it's really important to lead from a place of alignment instead of fear, which brings me to our next phase and the second part of the RAMP method, which is alignment. When you align your business goals with what you value personally, that is where you unlock business growth, because you no longer feel like you're in this tug of war, trying to scale and grow and come from this very fearful, anxious place, right? We get everything in alignment. And really understanding how to make decisions from an aligned place versus a fearful place. When we break boundaries, I forgot to ask yesterday, but I usually ask, how many of you set boundaries and then you break them? Usually that's for guilt. It's from people pleasing. There's a reason that you're breaking boundaries over and over, and they don't feel comfortable for you, right? They're outside of your comfort zone, and they're very fear-based. And so when we get really clear on your goals, where you should be spending your time and your energy, your zone of genius. We talked about that in sports. They, as Olympic athletes, they have to get really clear on what are their strengths and where are they most likely to win that gold medal. And the same is true for you as a business owner. Where can you focus your time and energy? And really understanding what are your priorities and your values in this season, because the season I'm in, I have kids, but they're teenagers. If you have young kids, that's totally different. If you are an empty nester, that's totally different. If you're taking care of, aging parents, we all have seasons in our life where we can invest more time and energy into our business. But just because you have those things doesn't mean you can't also reach your goals. So, this is super important, and getting really clear on this really is what helps you to be able to actually rest and recover. And when I talk about rest and recovery, I don't mean sleep. Sleep is super important, right? When people say, oh, just sacrifice sleep, I'm like, that's one of the worst things you can do, because you end up mentally fatigued. Your body can't recover. It can't release toxins that it needs to, that it does at nighttime, right? Sleep is super important. But when I talk about rest, I mean mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual rest, and what that looks like for you as an individual. Then the master phase. This is where we identify those real-time blind spots. So we started some of this work yesterday. We uncovered maybe one area that's maybe blocking you from doing follow-up, or from your goals, or from resting. I talked about affirmations. I like to say affirmations are kind of bullshit. They're not. They do work, but only if you have uncovered and identified the blind spot first. So we use neuroscience and performance psychology to rewire those beliefs and create exponential leaps. I talked about this a little bit when I talked about the two athletes, the male and female. The performance psychology for a male versus a female is very different. And it depends on what you're going through and what your goals are, and really identifying how to speak to you and give you the exercises and the work you need as an individual to really be able to reach your goals without that burnout. So this is not positive self-talk. I'm not going to teach you positive self-talk. Positive self-talk affirmations are great after we have done the work to build that belief and that safety in your system, because that's really what it comes down to, is creating a new safety within your body. A couple of you mentioned yesterday, like family members, right? What family members have said, or feeling guilt for making more money than your family. We have all of these things that we have believed, and these patterns that are subconsciously running in the background. And if we don't work through those and overcome them, you will stay in a cycle of hustle, and you'll either reach your goal and you'll get there and you'll end up self-sabotaging, or you'll never get there, and you'll feel like it's you're pushing a boulder uphill, right? That was me. That was my story. So everybody's story is a little bit different. But when you master this, that is when you can master your business and your goals and really get to the place that you want to, without feeling like you're having to sacrifice your health, your sleep, your family, the things that are really important to you. And then peak performance. So this is your gold medal game plan for scaling without burnout. We identify, what does peak performance look like for you? Again, it's different for males and females. It's different between individuals. And then really teaching you, how do you work with your physiology instead of against it? So I talked about this yesterday. Men are more productive in a 24-hour period. Women are more productive in a 28-day period. And when you can learn to harness that energy and that power and learn to work with your physiology, you become much more productive, and it feels much easier because you're not having to force. And then we create a 12-month peak performance plan. So what do I mean by that? This is the strategy piece, right? I said, you can have all the strategy in the world, but if you don't have the beliefs and the mindset to go with it, if you haven't got yourself to step into that new person, into the person who's going to reach that goal, you'll stay stuck where you're at, right? But there's action steps. There is strategy you have to take after you have built the belief. And so this is where the peak performance comes in. This is the strategy. And so we literally create a 12-month plan that identifies what are the specific seasons in your business, in your industry, and what are you doing in each of those seasons and what are you not doing? What are you doing for marketing? What are you doing for networking? How are you resting? What types of events, what types of things are you doing? Client appreciation, right? All of this goes into your 12-month peak performance plan so you can reach that goal that you set for yourself, your 12-month goal. So you can reach that and do it in a way that feels really good, where you have a plan, you know what's happening, right? It's flexible. We have flexibility within the plan. But when you have that plan laid out and you know what you're doing and what you're not doing, that is how you get to scale and reach your goals without burning out. So let's just talk about a few people. Like, you might be wondering, okay, can this really work for me? I don't know. I don't know if you can see this here because my little head is right there. But this is Rob Reuter. And he said, I thought peak performance meant working harder. Let me see if I can move myself. I can't read this thing. I thought peak performance meant working harder. Cherie showed me a completely different path. I've not only, I cannot read what that says because my head is in the way. I have not only increased my business, I've found a way to succeed without burning out. Katie Anderson owns Inclusion Culture. She said, being coached by Cherie is life-changing. She helped me uncover the root of my struggles and created positive shifts in my business and life. Chad Thompson, he said, for the first time, my calendar works with me instead of against me. Even in peak season, my energy is steady and burnout isn't a concern. When we first started working together, Chad had owned Spokane Screen Repair. It was a very seasonal business. So spring through fall was very, very busy. Winter was that lull, right? Just like in real estate, where it's like that anxiety of, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to pay the bills and pay the people and all these things? And so he was in a state of burnout. He now has a VA company, Sidekick VA Services, and he just went through a 6-week Success Without Sacrifice program I did in January, and now he is a one-on-one client and learning. One of the things for him, he was like, Cherie, I don't know when to push the gas and when to let go. He just was pushing the gas all the time, and then when there were clients coming in, it was very stressful, right? And so it's been a lot of work of just retraining that rest is okay, and rest actually will help you reach your goals and be in that peak performance. And so he's been learning how to work in a totally different way. And he's like, Cherie, I've been sharing this to everybody. He probably sells the ramp method better than I do. So this is the program I talked about yesterday, 6 months to double your transactions. So this is a 6-month program. We meet monthly as a group. And then you get 3 one-on-one deep dive sessions. So we meet in November, January, and March. So we have deep dives throughout, and that is to make sure that you can overcome your personal barriers and really accelerate your growth. So what we did yesterday, with the coaching, we go even deeper into that in our one-on-one sessions to really make sure that we're uncovering whatever it is that's keeping you stuck, either stuck in burnout, stuck in hustle, or stuck in not reaching your goals. And then we have a 9-month group accountability call. So this is really to help you refocus and make sure that you're staying on track beyond that 6 months. So the core of the program is going to be over a 6-month period. So that way, when your busy season comes, you're ready to go. And then we're going to do accountability calls and support and just make sure we're supporting you along the way. And then a 12-month group accountability call. So this is where we're really going to celebrate your wins and make a plan so you can continue to scale past that 12 months. This program is normally $9,997. I mentioned that we are running this as a pilot program. The reason for this is because I want a cohort of realtors to prove that we can actually double your transactions and double your income. So the clients that we've had in the past, we have never tracked their income specifically. Whereas in this program, and I'll tell you more about that in just a second. But you are going to get direct access an introductory price, and you're really going to help us shape this program specifically for real estate professionals. So this program, this specific program is designed for realtors, for your struggles, for your needs, for what works for you and what doesn't. In the past, we have done we do an intake assessment and we do an exit assessment for our clients, and we know that our clients have an 80% increase in communication, in fulfillment, in joy, in boundaries, really across the board, but we've never tracked the financial aspect of it. And that is why we're running this as a pilot program. So I mentioned a couple bonuses yesterday. I mentioned the Mindset Reset AI coach. You will get 12-month access to this. So this is literally like having me in your back pocket. So right now it's group coaching, but if you have things that come up, whether it's in your busy season or throughout, or you're like, I know I'm supposed to follow up with this person, or I know I'm supposed to get on video, and you're having a really hard time, you can go in and be like, hey, I'm having a hard time doing this. And it's going to act like me, and it's going to ask you the questions to help uncover where that's coming from. Sheila came up yesterday. She talked about the professional headshot and branding package that she's offering, which is valued at $500. And anybody who joins the program will be entered to win that package. So everyone will get the Mindset Reset AI coach. Anybody else that joins the program will be entered to win the headshot package with Sheila. So I'm going to skip past that because we talked about that already. Fast action bonus. So the first two to enroll. So I mentioned yesterday that I would hold the pricing for 24 hours. First two people to enroll will get an additional 2 months of one-on-one coaching with me. So you'll get an additional 2 sessions beyond the core program. And you can decide to do those within the 6 months. You can decide to spread them out over 12 months. If you need support, that's totally up to you. So there's 2 spots available for that. The first 2 people to enroll, after you watch this video and you see this, you'll have access to that. So pricing, if you pay in full, you save about $500. It's $19.97, or 6 payments of $417. So after today, this pricing is going to go up to $24.97 and 6 payments of $450. All right. So you might be wondering, like, cool, yeah, she's worked with other industries. Like, can it really work for real estate? I mentioned yesterday that I have proven the ramp method to work within the insurance industry, which is very similar to real estate. The seasonal aspect, insurance is very busy spring through fall, then it slows down and it dies off in the winter. And they have the same anxieties and the same stress during the slow times. And they also have that, like, we've got to respond right away. They have a harder time with boundaries, right? There's a lot of the same parallels and struggles. And so this is Heather Carell with Legacy Insurance. She says, last year has been a total game changer. Cherie helped me make crucial changes that freed up my time, improved communication, and reduced stress. My entire agency is doing better, basically. Can't read that. But she was at a place where she was like, Cherie, I'm ready to just burn my business down. Like, I'm just done. And after 4 months, she went through a program that we have that's called Owner to CEO program. After 4 months, she was feeling much better. Her team was working better together. And now she's actually absorbing another book of business and continuing to grow and scale. Naomi Kahn said, Cherie helped me navigate the challenges of business ownership and shift my focus to proactive behaviors instead of reactive firefighting. We see a lot of that in insurance, and I'm sure you probably feel that in real estate as well, right? It's like you're constantly being pulled by clients and contracts and all these different things. She said her coaching paved the way for sustainable growth and the outcomes I truly wanted. Lisa LeBlanc, Northtown Insurance. She was actually one of my very first insurance clients, and how I even started coaching in the insurance space, and now getting into the real estate space. She said, I went from burnout and chaos to feeling grounded with boundaries, right? We talked about boundaries to protect my time and energy. Lisa, she was the one that kept like breaking boundaries for herself. She was like, I want to do this. And she kept breaking boundaries. And a lot of it was due to people pleasing and fear. She said our business has seen exponential growth since coaching. I actually help them with hiring, and they have hired, gosh, I think 4 or 5 agents. And they are like scaling like gangbusters. So this works. The ramp method works. And the first time that Lisa learned about the ramp method, she was like, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. They were able to really alleviate and really create seasons within their business. And so instead of pushing for KPIs and goals and all of this, now they take the fall and they slow down and they get in alignment and they take the winter to really rest and allow their team to rest as well. And knowing and building that trust of the income's going to come, right? We can't force people to be in a buying mindset for real estate or insurance in the wintertime. It's just not how it works, right? It doesn't matter how hard you hustle. What mattered and what made the difference is teaching them to calm down their nervous system and teaching them to slow down and trust that that money was going to come in and it was going to be replenished, right? And it seems so simple, but just that little bit reduces stress and it makes us be more proactive instead of reactive. They had made some big shifts in their business with releasing certain clients and creating space for more clients that they wanted, because she was able to lead from that place of trust within her body instead of the logical, like, we can't do this, we're going to lose money, right? Like all of these things that we tell ourselves. So those are just a few highlights of some clients that we've worked with. We have many more, but these are the ones that I feel like are the most relatable to the real estate industry. So I forgot to mention this yesterday, but I have 3 requirements to join this pilot program. Number 1 is we're requiring a testimonial at the end of the program because social proof works, right? Number 2, you have to commit to showing up to the calls and doing the homework. If you're not willing to show up to the calls and if you're not willing to do the homework that I give you in the exercises, save your money. Don't join. I don't want your money, right? It's not going to help you. It's not going to help me. And so if you miss one, it'll be recorded, not a big deal. But overall, like, it's a commitment, right? I can't teach you this. I can't help you transform and overcome burnout and scale and reach your goals through osmosis. I had to do the work. You have to do the work. Okay. Last but not least, at our 9-month and 12-month accountability calls, we're going to require that you bring your transactions and your revenue numbers, because we are wanting to show the real estate industry and the world, frankly, that this can be done in a different way. You don't have to be a part of those stats that we saw, right? Where the burnout rate in real estate is 87%. You don't have to be that stat. We get to change that, and we're going to change that through this program. And you get to be the foundation of creating that and helping this become even better for agents in the future. This program will go up after this year. After we have this proof and we've shown that, this does work and we have that social proof, this program pricing will at least double. So again, if you're like, yes, I want to move forward, I want to do this, you can pay in full today for $19.97. I don't know why the QR codes aren't showing up there. So I will make sure that the QR codes come through the email, or a payment plan of $417 for 6 months. Today, as a thank you for showing up and watching this video, being there yesterday, I'm going to open up 3 one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you want to do a deeper dive into what we did yesterday and you want to go a little bit deeper and you're kind of on the fence of like, do I want to invest in this coaching? Like, what if I invest and I don't make my money back? Here's the thing. I have invested over $60,000 at least in coaching, and I've never, ever had the money up front, ever. Not one time. My very first program was $8,000. I had just started my business. I did not have that money. I just did it. I just took a leap of faith because I knew if somebody can teach me how to do it, I'll make the investment back. And I did. And then I did it again with a 12K program and I made the money back. And then I did it again with a $25,000 program for speaking. And this is why I'm doing workshops and speaking now. And I have more leads coming in the last couple of months because of this, because I chose to invest in myself. I chose to make a decision from alignment because I knew it was what I wanted and what I needed, and I knew it would get me to where I wanted to go, instead of letting fear make the decision for me, instead of letting my bank account make the decision for me. So right now, I want to ask you, I just want you to take a second, just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, let it out, and ask yourself, like, is this the next right step? Quiet the fear. If it's just money, you're like, I'm just starting, or I'm going into the slow season, I don't know if I'm going to have the money. Ask yourself this: what if you knew that in 6 months, you were going to at least make back your investment, if not double it? Would you do it? If the answer is yes, then I want to invite you to scan the QR code and join. If the answer is maybe, I want to invite you to book a call with me. You would need to book it within before next week. Our program starts Wednesday, so you would need to book it by Tuesday at the latest. And if it's a no and you're like, I don't think this is it, that's all right. That's cool. I hope you got something out of this today. I'm so happy we're here. If you know others that would be interested in this or that want this and need this, please share this with them. Invite them to our workshops that we have coming up when you see them, and just be a partner with us. I mentioned if group coaching is not your thing, I do have private coaching. So again, if you're interested in that, you can use the link here and schedule a call. And we'll talk more about what is one-on-one coaching. Is that the right fit for you? And we'll just kind of dive in and what that looks like. So thank you again so much for just investing your time yesterday, for investing your time here right now, and really getting to understand this a little bit better. I'm so sorry for the technology issues yesterday. I'm going to find somewhere other than the library to start doing these workshops because it helps visually. It totally threw me off yesterday. I didn't feel like I did a really great job of telling you guys how you could move forward with me and how to really take the RAMP method and apply it in your own life. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you again down the road. Have a great day.